Hey everybody, welcome back to Electric Cafe. Today's version is about the Orb. Orb was a UK kind of ambient house, uh, ambient, do a little bit of techno, a little bit of dub outfit. Basically, if I'm not, there's some moving parts of the members, but I think for the most part in the early times, I want to say it was certainly Alex Patterson, Chris Weston, and Andy Hughes. I know there's been quite a bit on a line, and I kind of saw it firsthand when it happened. But I think it was 2008 or so when Chris Weston came out, and there was definitely a lot of argument back and forth about him saying that Alex Patterson was a hack in the studio and didn't know how to play any instruments, and he pretty much did all of it. And Alex Patterson was just sort of like a DJ and doesn't know anything about producing. And I'm not sure where Andy Hughes fits into that, or Andy Falcon. I think it's Falcon, or any other members that were sort of around that time. And I don't really know what kind of became of that, or if anything, But there was, for the most part, it was those three members early in the career, and they hit it. They had some really good success through the '90s, especially, and there was definitely a chill out scene in 1990, and you got to put yourself in perspective of 1990. Like the really exciting thing about '80s dance music is it hitting the charts. You had especially freestyle music, and even things like Madonna and a lot of dance music was hitting the mainstream. Even like something like Milli Vanilli, could be a number one song when it was just a dance song. That's how big dance music was in those times. And tied to that, you had songs from chill out artists that were making the charts. You kind of think of like Lullaby by Deep Forest, or Sadness by Enigma, Bedouin monks, Gregorian chants. There was these odd kind of songs that were kind of like, just that got popular and made the charts and even played on major radio stuff. It was just such an interesting time. And then you also have things like Tektronic, like Pump Up the Jam, or Mars, Pump Up the Volume, or what I mean, just certain things that kind of hit the mainstream that were strictly dance music. And kind of, I'm talking about like, especially like, 89 to like 93, 92. There's a lot of period in there where dance music was making the charts, and you have something like Orb, who came in around 1990, 91, and I mean, I don't have the charts with me, but I want to say their first four albums made the top 40, top 100 of album sales, or of the charts for albums, and even a couple of songs hit the top 40, if I'm not mistaken. So they were a chill out band. They're not even like Orbital, like or some other bands like I think I'm sure Underworld had quite a few dancing charts on the not on the dance charts, but actually on the UK top 40. But the Orb come in and kind of become the biggest ambient, excuse me, probably the biggest ambient project or group of the early '90s. They just hit a niche, with their sound and the sampling that they did, and the chill out. And of course, just a little bit earlier, you had KLF and their album Space, and then Chill Out, and then their albums came out right after. So I think I used to have this on cassette. This is Adventure Beyond the Ultra World, right? So originally it was a double album, and this was just I know that one track features I think it's Earth, It features Flash Gordon. I remember that so well, the movie Flash Gordon. But this had their big hit, Fluffy Clouds, on it, which was used in commercials, and it's almost probably considered the chill out song of electronica in the early 90s. Like, I can't really think of any song that was more popular and still well regarded than Little Fluffy Clouds. And really they kind of set the tone for this album. The thing that's cool about this time and these kind of experimentations of the chill out scene, and I don't mean the chill out scene with the more 90s with Ibiza and Cafe Del Mar. This is even before Cafe Del Mar, even though Cafe Del Mar was going on at the time. Like, the first iteration of chill out music that kind of got into record stores was more geared towards psychedelic music and spacey music, and more tied to techno and trance and even dub than house music. Or, I mean, although there's ambient house in here, it's not tied towards the later 90s kind of chill out scene that kind of got really popular with the bright pink CDs and bright purple CDs with girls on the cover and stuff. This is like kind of the original chill out scene where I kind of mixed techno and ambient into a kind of a trance. And a lot of these albums are kind of considered ambient. This had Perpetual Dawn on it, which was a unique song for the time. I still think it's unique for them, but when you think of like Once More, which is another track that's kind of similar to Perpetual Dawn, you can kind of see how that I can see them doing that. It's not so different, but it is a unique song. I mean, for the time, especially compared to kind of what's in here. Obviously, Outlands is a really good song. I mean, there's not really any bad song in here. There's a lot of good stuff on here. Just a lot. I mean, amazing double album. This is I think the 2000, maybe 17 reissue of it. I originally had it on cassette. I probably got the CD. Originally, I had the cassette when it came out, and then this is the CD, which I got probably sometime in the early 2000s or late 90s. This is the reissue that came out, I think 2018 or so. This is the 2x12. I didn't get the 3x12, unfortunately. I didn't know there was a difference. This is still sealed. I still haven't opened this up. Again, because I have the CD, but a rainy day when I want to debut this, it's going to be amazing. I mean, this is almost pushing 35 years old, so when I have a special soft spot to play this album, I'm going to debut it. Moving on to their second album, UF Orb. I really like the artwork on this one. A lot more spacey. I really like the artwork around this period. Again, with the lowercase font, which is something I used with my label. I love the underground kind of use of not using uppercase font. I just like how it looks. I love the bubble letter look. So cool. On here, this one's in some ways this is even better than or this one's a little bit more experimental, a lot longer, more ambient. This one's a little bit more dub, maybe a little bit more techno in some ways. Towers of Dub and Blue Room are classics, but OBE and UF Orb and Close Encounters. The end kind of fizzles out a little bit, majestic and sticky end, but Towers of Dub and Blue Room are just, amazing. Long tracks, too. I think Blue Room is, Towers of Dub is 15 minutes long? Blue Room 17 minutes long. Kind of hard to read that, but Blue Room 17 minutes long. But then they nailed it on this one. This one's a great follow-up to Beyond the Ultra World. Here's a Perpetual Dawn single. So this has some remixes on here. Again, I love the font on here. And I love the kind of hippie-ish but trippy artwork, right? Great looking colors on the cover, right? I mean, talk about sticking out in the record bin. This is a great single too. Perpetual Dawn's an all-time favorite of mine. Of theirs, definitely in the top 5 favorite songs. It has a Solar Flare extended mix. The Youth, who did some work with Orb and a lot of other inspirational, or a lot of '80s band. I think Youth is from. Oh God, who is Youth in? Oh, I'm blanking on that. Was Youth in Art of Noise? No, Youth was. I'm blanking on what Youth used to be in. Anyways, he's a really strong producer, and he's also done a lot of great remixes. Yeah, just an awesome single here. A little hard to remix, read the remixes, but yeah, 1992 I think this came out, 91. But super cool. The Orb, the Peel Sessions. So they even made it to the Peel Sessions, and this features. I think it's all 3 are from. I think all 3 is Backside of the Moon. Again, there's the tie to. This is kind of like. Yeah, all 3 of these tracks from Peel Sessions are from Beyond the Ultra World, and Dark Side of the Moon, or the Backside of the Moon, and that's kind of probably what I couldn't explain that well earlier, is Orb is kind of like the dark side of the moon of electronic music. And I don't know if Ultra of the Music is that album to have. I mean, it's kind of all their early music. But that's kind of the idea behind what they were trying to do was make that kind of spatial, trippy, take you to another world type of big Odyssey sounding album. So much so that it's a double album. And then here you have the Peel Sessions of that, right? Wouldn't say it's a super rare one, but very cool to have. This one is kind of obscure. This one's, well, actually, I'll come back to that one because it's out of order. Here's a very highly regarded their live album from '93, which is a double album as well. So this features a lot of their first 2 albums. Actually, probably the first, I think 2 albums. It's got Blue Room on there, Towers of Dub. And it's got a little Fluffy Clouds, Star 6, 7, 8, 9. Plateau's on there, which is a great one. Assassin's a great one. Perpetual Dawn, of course, again. Spanish Castles in the Sky, which is a great one. Outland. So this is like all of their good early stuff just live. And this is such a highly regarded album. Here's the fantastic double CD that everybody loves. But this one's actually still holding the CD, which is surprising. Such a horrible design CD, but it's still holding it. But man, for them to be on Island Records, that's how popular they were. The Orb. Moving on to their more experimental side, experimental albums. And this is Orbis Terram. This is really strong too. I really like the artwork on the back here. Kind of has the old maps feel, right? This has Plateau, Valley. So again, that Valley, this is like '93. So this, the live is some on here as well. I thought it was just the first 2 albums, but it's also the first 3. Because Plateau and Valley are on here. Oxbow Lakes is on here, which is a really strong one. I should have brought the record out, but actually it's in my Carl Craig section because it's more known for the Carl Craig remix than actual being an Orb record in my DJ heart. But yeah, really strong album. They were just on a roll this period. I mean, here's kind of another one. Pomfrits. So good, I got 2 copies. Pomfrits is great. This is probably it's a little bit shorter album, but it's probably their most experimental. But that's 4 albums in a row, and then Orbital is. I mean, Oblivion has just grown and grown on me over the years. There's some parts of it that don't really work. I mean, this is kind of in 1997. That's kind of like the Big Beats popular in 97, right? This might be maybe a little bit before that since it came out in 97, but you have a little bit of that in here. Of course, the title song, Toxigene, is not title song, but the single Toxigene is kind of a little boombastic, a little bit, and kind of avant-garde in a strange way, and that's kind of that time of 1997. You think of like Chemical Brothers, and you guys know the Wipeout Excel compilation, right? Like Underworld's big that year with Buku Fish in 98, and FSOL is big, and there's drum and bass is big, so there's a lot of bombastic kind of electronic feel. Prodigy's huge right then, right? So this kind of has a little bit of that, but the really good tracks I really love on here, and that's Molten Love, Asylum, and the first track, which I can't read. First 2 tracks actually, but this has grown on me over time, especially with Toxigene and stuff like that, which is track number. It's like number 9 on here. But I think this is kind of an underrated CD. It's not as good as any of the 4, I'll tell you. But I feel like most people talk about this one and kind of leave Oblivion. But I think it's a good album. Here's the single for Asylum. Has some really good remixes on here. I think Andrea Parker's on here. Andrea Parker. It's a really good techno version on here. How cool is the artwork? Very cool. What else do I have? Here's the double pack of Little Fluffy Clouds. This has Dan and Timmy. This is I think they redid this in like 2000, maybe 98 or something like that. But these are kind of new versions of it. So you got the Danny Tenaglia remix. 2 actually by Danny Tenaglia, Adam Freeland, Tsunami 1 remix. So that's probably electro, because Adam Freeland does electro, especially in the late 90s. And then you have some remixes on the last side. One by Pal Joey and somebody who I don't know, but it says produced by Youth. But yeah, good double pack remixes. Moving on, the Orb Greatest Hits has a lot of the best songs I talked about. It adds Mickey Mars on here, which isn't bad. And then Pie, which I think might be from Oblivion. But greatest album, greatest hits. Cool cover, the middle finger rocket. I always liked that cover. It's kind of cool. Moving on, the remixes of Once More. So this was definitely I can't remember which album this came from. I don't have that album. The last album that I bought was Triangle on Tricycles, and this one they moved to. Which label did they move to? Was this Compact also? I can't remember if they moved to Compact on this one. It doesn't say Compact, but in 2004 they moved to Compact Records and did some stuff, I think, with David Gilmour. There's like some dub stuff in there, or maybe it was they did it with what's his name? The dub guy with the different color hair. He just recently died a couple years ago. Oh, it's gonna bother me, but he has the nose rings and all the earrings and different color. Jamaican guy, a little short guy, kind of one of the inventors of dub. Um, Anyways, so Orb did some music with him, but I think they did one with David Gilmour as well, maybe even two. There's two he did with either the dub guy I'm trying to think of or David Gilmour, but I haven't really got into those yet. The last thing I bought again was 2003, so I haven't heard any of the Orb stuff in the last 20 years. Back to the Once More. This was, in fact. You know what? Cydonia. This came from Cydonia, and I don't have Cydonia's record CD here. That's unfortunate. Cydonia. I used to have that CD. So Once More is a track from that, and back in that day, I think it was 2001 when that came out. I played the single of Once More a lot. I love that single. It's a great track. These remixes were popular, especially with the progressive house DJs. I think. One was featured in Sasha and Digweed's. I think it was a communications mix CD, but yeah, this Mark Pritchard's on the remix on one of these. Can't read the other one. Oh, cool. Well, at least I have the CD. Bedrock's on the remix on here, and Denny Tenaglia. So, oh well, look what I found inside. So I have the Cydonia CD. At least I have the CD if I don't have the case. At least I'm okay with that. So, yeah, Once More is a really good one. I think I'm going to play this one and Bicycle and Tricycles and maybe kind of revisit some of the Orb, and that'll be my project for the week, probably to kind of get back into the Orb and see what they've done post 2003. Again, Once More is a great single. The remixes are okay. There is the Digby remix is pretty strong. It's kind of dark progressive house, but Danny Tenaglia is a fantastic remix. I wouldn't doubt if that one's good too. I just can't remember it. But yeah, that's kind of my records on the Orb. Oh, I did get this one. I think this came from this promo came from Aftermath. Is Aftermath on here? Maybe not. I don't know. I'm pretty sure this is 2004. This one says Aftermath, and it's from the single. This is a really good single. This is the last thing I bought from them. Actually, it's 94. From a Distance hybrid remix. That's probably kind of electro, progressive house, nothing hybrid. But yeah, the Aftermath is a really cool song. I thought it might be from Triangle, but I don't see Aftermath. But it's really hard to read the handwriting on here. It's very small. I don't see Aftermath in there. But yeah, that's my my collection on the Orb. But yeah, I just need to kind of catch up on the last 20 years. But I really like the first 10 years, 10 or 12 years. But what are your favorite 5 tracks by the Orb? And what's your favorite album by the Orb? My 5 favorite tracks probably have to be Once More, Molten Love, Asylum, Perpetual Dawn, and probably Blue Room. Those are probably my favorite 5 by them. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching this video on the Orb. Hope you took something out of it, and I'd be curious to know what your thoughts on the Orb were and your experiences are. Feel free to comment at the bottom. Thanks a lot.